10 life lessons to learn once that will improve your life forever. Welcome, my friend. You're about to begin a powerful journey. Not just through words, but through wisdom. Not just through ideas, but through life-changing insights that, once learned, will serve you forever. This is not just another audiobook. It's a guide for those who want to live smarter, love deeper, work better, and wake up each day with purpose. We all chase success. We all want happiness. But too often, we overlook the timeless truths that shape everything else: our mindset, our habits, our relationships, our direction. That's where this book comes in. Inside these chapters, you'll find the kind of lessons most people learn the hard way. After years of mistakes, heartbreaks, failures, or regrets. But not you. You're choosing to learn now, so you can live wiser, not older. You're choosing to grow before life forces you to. These are the 20 lessons that, once learned, will serve you for the rest of your life. Lessons that elevate your thinking, sharpen your choices, and unlock your full potential. And in this first part, we'll explore the foundation, 10 lessons that build your inner strength, clarity, and courage. You'll learn how to master your thoughts, why discomfort is your secret weapon, how to build unstoppable habits, the power of surrounding yourself with people who raise your standards, and how small actions today create massive transformation tomorrow. Each chapter is designed to hit home, to get you thinking, feeling, and most importantly, acting. Because this isn't about motivation that fades by morning. This is about transformation that lasts a lifetime. So take a deep breath, let go of distractions, and lean in. You're about to equip yourself with the life lessons most people never take the time to learn, until it's too late. But not you. You're ready now. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Your mind is your most powerful tool. Learn to master it. If there's one lesson that every successful, fulfilled, and resilient person has learned, it's this. Your mind can either be your greatest asset or your worst enemy. We're not born with a strong mindset. It's not something that magically appears one day. It's built. And it's built with awareness, repetition, and effort. Let's break this down. Imagine two people waking up to the exact same day. It's raining. Traffic is bad. Their plans fall apart. One person spirals, complaining, stressing, reacting emotionally to everything. The other? They stay grounded, focused, calm, even hopeful. What's the difference? It's not the day. It's not luck. It's mindset. Here's the truth most people miss. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. Your beliefs shape your perception. Your thoughts shape your actions. And your repeated thoughts become your reality. If your mind is constantly focused on what's going wrong, you'll see problems everywhere. But if your mind is trained to seek solutions, find opportunities, and control what you can, then even setbacks become setups. So how do you master your mind? 1. Become the observer, not the reactor. You are not your thoughts. That's one of the most freeing ideas you can ever embrace. Most people live as if every thought in their mind is true. They think, I'm not good enough, and they believe it. They think, I can't handle this, and they give up. But a powerful shift happens when you start observing your thoughts instead of reacting to them. When you catch yourself thinking something negative, ask, is this thought useful? Is it true? Would I speak to someone I love this way? Once you observe your mind, you can start rewiring it. 2. Feed it what you want it to produce. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, comparison, and drama, you'll grow anxiety. But if you plant seeds of purpose, gratitude, strength, and vision, you'll grow peace and power. What are you feeding your mind daily? Books, podcasts, people, conversations, social media, news. These aren't neutral. Everything you consume is shaping you. So ask yourself, is what I'm feeding my mind helping me grow? Or is it poisoning me slowly? 3. Practice mental rehearsal. Athletes do this. Pilots do this. Top performers in every field use this simple tool. Visualization. It's more than daydreaming. It's mental training. Before you step into a big meeting, an interview, or a difficult conversation, close your eyes and visualize yourself handling it with calm, clarity, and confidence. Feel it, hear it, experience it in your mind first. When you do this regularly, you create a neural pathway that makes it easier to act with courage in real life. It's like a mental dress rehearsal. And over time, your mind learns to expect success instead of fear it. 4. Watch the language you use. Your words become your worldview. If you constantly say, "I'm always tired," "I can't do this," or "nothing ever works for me," your mind listens. It obeys. It finds evidence to support those statements. But if you shift your language, even slightly, you shift your identity. Try saying, "I'm figuring this out. I'm learning to get stronger. I've handled worse before. I'll get through this too." This isn't blind positivity. It's mental conditioning. It's leadership. And the most important person you'll ever lead is yourself. 5. Master the pause. Reacting is easy. But pausing? That's power. When you feel anger rising, pause. When fear creeps in, pause. When you're about to say something you'll regret, pause. In that space, even if it's just 3 seconds, you give your mind time to choose a better response. That tiny habit, over time, will change your relationships, your career, and your peace of mind. Mastering your mind doesn't mean you'll never struggle. It doesn't mean you'll never feel anxious or get off track. It means you'll know how to catch it, correct it, and come back stronger. Most people go through life being controlled by their mind instead of taking control of it. But once you decide to become the driver, not the passenger, everything changes. So the first life lesson to learn, once and for all, is this. Your mindset is not fixed. It is a tool. And if you train it right, it becomes the most powerful force you'll ever have. Now, take a breath. You're not powerless. You're not stuck. You're just one thought away from a better direction. Let's keep going. In the next chapter, we'll dive into a lesson that affects every area of your life. How to take full ownership of your actions, your choices, and your results. No more blaming, no more waiting, just full, powerful responsibility. Chapter 2. Take full responsibility for your life. Here's a hard truth that many people avoid their whole lives. You are responsible for your life. Not your parents. Not your boss. Not your past. Not the government. Not fate. You. The day you accept this truth is the day everything starts to shift. Because once you stop blaming, you start building. Once you stop waiting for someone to save you, you become powerful enough to save yourself. This is one of those life lessons that feels uncomfortable at first. Responsibility can feel heavy. But in reality, it's the most liberating thing you'll ever embrace. So what does it mean to take full responsibility? Let's break it down. 1. No more excuses. Just results. We live in a world that celebrates victimhood. People wear their pain like a badge of honor. Look at what I've been through, they say. And yes, your story matters. Your pain is real. But your excuses? They don't get to define you. Excuses might make you feel better in the moment, but they steal your power in the long run. Instead of saying, "I can't succeed because I didn't have the right upbringing," try saying, "I didn't have the best start, but now it's up to me to change the finish." You either make excuses or you make progress. You don't get to do both. Responsibility says, "It's not my fault, but it is my responsibility." Read that again. Because life will hand you things that aren't your fault, betrayals, heartbreaks, setbacks, but you still have to respond to them. That's your power. That's your choice. 2. Own your choices, even the small ones. You are where you are today because of thousands of small decisions. What time you wake up, what you eat, who you hang around, what you consume, how you react to stress, what you avoid, what you tolerate. It all adds up. Most people give away their power by saying, "I didn't have a choice." But in almost every case, you did. And you do. No one forced you to stay in that relationship. No one made you work that job for 10 years. No one stopped you from learning new skills. You may not like the choices you had, but you did have a choice. And if you're brave enough to admit that, you now have the power to make better ones. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means owning your ability to respond differently. 3. Stop waiting for permission. You don't need anyone's permission to start, to change, to heal, to grow, to go after what you really want. Yet so many people are stuck because they're waiting. Waiting for someone to believe in them. Waiting for perfect timing. Waiting until it feels safe. Here's the truth. No one is coming. That mentor you're hoping for may never show up. That opportunity you're praying for might need to be created, not given. Responsibility means you stop waiting and start acting. You stop saying, "I wish someone would help me," and you start saying, "How can I help myself right now?" This is the mindset of people who move mountains. They don't wait, they build. 4. Your reactions are your responsibility too. Let's go deeper. It's easy to say you're responsible for your actions. But are you responsible for your reactions too? Yes. Absolutely. When someone disrespects you, you choose how to respond. When something doesn't go your way, you choose whether to complain or learn. When life tests you, you choose whether to give up or grow. You don't get to blame your behavior on your emotions forever. You're allowed to feel. But you're also responsible for what you do with those feelings. That's emotional maturity. That's leadership. And it's a sign you've taken full ownership of your inner world. 5. Responsibility doesn't equal shame. Now, let's clear something up. Taking responsibility is not the same as beating yourself up. It's not about shame. It's not about guilt. It's about empowerment. You're not saying, "I'm a failure." You're saying, "I made a mistake and I can do better." You're not saying, "I'm broken." You're saying, "I'm growing." This mindset shift changes the game. It moves you from helpless to hopeful, from reactive to intentional, from blaming to building. Remember, no one gets it all right. We all mess up. But the difference between winners and victims is what happens after the mistake. Winners take ownership, learn the lesson, and move forward. Victims stay stuck, point fingers, and repeat the same patterns. Which one do you want to be? Let's be real. Taking full responsibility for your life is not easy. It means facing truths you've avoided. It means owning your past. It means letting go of blaming others, even when it feels justified. But it also means freedom. Because once you take full responsibility, no one can stop you. You become unshakable. If something breaks, you can rebuild. If you fail, you can try again. If you fall, you know how to rise. And here's the beautiful part. Once you take full responsibility for your own life, you stop trying to control everyone else's. You stop obsessing over who wronged you, who doesn't support you, or who should change. You stop playing the victim, and you become the author. This is your story. You get to write the next chapter. So let this lesson sink in. You are responsible for your life, your choices, your growth, your healing, your future. No one is coming to do it for you. And that is the greatest news of all. In the next chapter, we're going to talk about something that deeply affects your energy, motivation, and even your results: the company you keep. Because who you spend time with can either drain you or elevate you. And learning how to choose wisely is one of the most important lessons of all. Chapter 3. Surround yourself with people who raise your standards. Here's a truth that will shape your entire future, one that has quietly determined the level of success, happiness, and confidence in your life far more than you may realize. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Not kind of. Not sometimes. Always. Take a hard look at the 5 people you're around the most. Their habits, their mindset, their income, their relationships, their attitude. That's your average. That's your circle, and it's either pulling you up or holding you down. We're wired for connection. We absorb energy. We mirror beliefs. And without realizing it, we adopt the standards of the people closest to us. So if you want to improve your life, here's one of the most powerful, overlooked life lessons. Upgrade your circle, and you upgrade your standards. Let's break it down. 1. Energy is contagious, so be careful who you catch it from. Think about it. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt drained, even before anyone spoke? That's the power of energy. Some people lift you. Others leak you. There are people who inspire action, and people who kill momentum. People who speak possibility, and people who spread fear. People who cheer for you, and people who secretly want you to stay small. This isn't about being judgmental. It's about being protective. Because your energy, your mindset, your goals, they're worth guarding. If you hang around 5 complainers, you'll become the 6th. If you spend all day with people who avoid responsibility, guess what you'll start doing? If you constantly hear, "That's too hard," or "Nobody makes it," or "Be realistic," those beliefs start to sound normal. But normal doesn't change lives. High standards do. And high standards thrive in high-vibe environments. 2. Your standards are set by your circle. Here's the thing about standards. You don't rise to them automatically. You absorb them. If your friends don't read, grow, reflect, or challenge themselves, chances are you won't either. If your inner circle tolerates mediocrity, excuses, and playing small, you'll likely do the same. But if your people work on themselves, dream bigger, take risks, and push through challenges, you will too. It's not magic. It's modeling. You see someone go after their goals even when it's scary, and it inspires you to do the same. You watch someone own their mistakes instead of blaming others, and it reminds you what leadership looks like. You hear someone speak with belief and purpose, and suddenly your own voice changes. That's the power of proximity. So ask yourself, who do I need more of in my life? Who do I need less of? And what kind of person do I want to become? Because the answers to those questions will either push you forward or keep you stuck. 3. Let go of people who no longer align with your growth. This might be the hardest part of this lesson, but it's necessary. Sometimes, the people who've been with you the longest are the ones who are holding you back the most. And it hurts, especially if it's someone you love. But growth requires alignment, not just attachment. You don't need to cut people off with anger. But you do need to be honest with yourself. Are they encouraging your growth, or resenting it? Do they support your goals, or belittle them? Do they believe in your potential, or try to limit it? Just because someone has history with you doesn't mean they deserve access to your future. Letting go isn't cruelty. It's clarity. It's a declaration to the universe that says, I am serious about my evolution, and I will no longer settle for small environments. 4. Seek out people who make you uncomfortable, in the right way. Growth doesn't come from being the smartest person in the room. It comes from being challenged. Find people who stretch your thinking, who ask tough questions, who live at the level you want to reach, who won't let you off the hook when you make excuses. Yes, it's uncomfortable. That's the point. You want to be around people who raise the bar just by being themselves. People who take care of their health. People who manage their time with intention. People who pursue goals relentlessly. People who talk about ideas, not gossip. People who see failure as feedback, not a dead end. These people exist. But they're not always loud. They're not always in your current circle. You may have to search for them, join new communities, attend events, or even invest in mentors. But once you find them, hold on. Because they're gold. 5. Be the person you want to attract. Here's the twist. Before you can surround yourself with better people, you must become one of them. It's not enough to want high-level friends if you're still living at low-level habits. It's not fair to expect loyalty, positivity, or inspiration from others if you're not giving the same. Your circle doesn't just reflect you, it reveals you. So the question becomes, would you want to be friends with yourself right now? Be the kind of friend, partner, team member, or peer who encourages, uplifts, and pushes others forward. Be honest. Be driven. Be compassionate. Be someone who raises the room just by walking into it. Because when you become that person, you naturally attract others like you. And suddenly, your life becomes a breeding ground for momentum. Here's the lesson to remember forever. Your circle is your environment. Your environment becomes your energy. And your energy creates your future. If you want to elevate your life, elevate your circle. Let go of what drains you. Seek what fuels you. And build a tribe that reflects the highest version of you. Because at the end of the day, you don't need more opinions. You need more examples. More people who prove that it's possible. More people who say, let's go, instead of, why bother? More people who challenge you with love and cheer you on with belief. Find them. Become one. And never settle for a circle that doesn't match your vision. Chapter 4. Learn to say no. Protect your peace, purpose, and power. If your life feels busy, scattered, or overwhelming, if you often feel drained, resentful, or stuck in commitments you didn't even want to make, then this chapter is for you. Because here's a truth that very few people teach, but every successful person understands. Your ability to say no is one of the greatest forms of self-respect you'll ever develop. Not a rude no. Not a defensive or fearful no. But a powerful, peaceful, purposeful no that says, I know what matters, and I won't trade it for anything less. This is where boundaries come in. And boundaries are not walls. They're filters. They don't keep everyone out. They keep the wrong things from getting in. Let's break this down. 1. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Time is not something you can save. It's something you spend. Every yes you give out is a withdrawal from your energy, attention, and emotional bandwidth. When you say yes to someone else's urgency, you might be saying no to your own priorities. When you say yes to pleasing others, you might be saying no to your own peace. When you say yes to things out of guilt, you're saying no to growth. The question isn't, can I fit this in? It's, is this aligned with where I'm going? Successful people don't say yes out of habit. They say yes with intention. Because they've learned that every yes has a cost, and they choose wisely. 2. People-pleasing is self-betrayal. Let's talk about the fear behind saying no. For most people, it's not the word itself that's hard. It's the reaction we fear it will cause. What if they get upset? What if they think I'm selfish? What if they don't like me anymore? But here's the reality. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you abandon yourself. You send the message to your subconscious that your needs don't matter. That other people's comfort is more important than your clarity. That approval is worth more than alignment. That's not kindness. That's fear wearing a friendly mask. True kindness starts with truth. And truth sometimes requires a strong, respectful no. 3. Boundaries are bridges to a better life. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about protecting what matters most. Your time, your energy, your focus, your peace. When you don't set boundaries, you overcommit. You become reactive instead of intentional. You carry emotional weight that was never yours to hold. And eventually, you burn out. But when you do set boundaries, everything changes. Your relationships become healthier. Your confidence grows. Your clarity sharpens. You regain control of your time and your life. Saying no is not a rejection of others. It's an affirmation of you. 4. You teach people how to treat you. Every time you allow someone to cross your boundary without consequence, you reinforce that it's okay. It's not enough to know your limits. You have to communicate them. Clearly, calmly, consistently. It might feel awkward at first, especially if you're used to shrinking, tolerating, or giving in. But remember this, silence is agreement. If you don't speak up, people assume you're okay with it. And the more you enforce your boundaries, the more respect you'll gain, not just from others, but from yourself. You start walking differently. You speak with more clarity. You carry less resentment and more peace. That's the power of healthy self-protection. 5. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Here's a surprising truth. Sometimes, the most tempting opportunities are distractions in disguise. Not every job, project, invitation, or collaboration deserves your energy. Some will look shiny, but they don't fit your values. Some will pay well, but cost your sanity. Some will feel flattering, but lead you off course. Your no is what creates space for the right yes. If your schedule is packed with things that don't matter, you'll never have time for the things that do. You can't build a meaningful life if you're constantly reacting to meaningless requests. So before saying yes to anything, ask, does this align with my goals, my values, and my vision? If not, it's a no. With no guilt, no apology, no second guessing. 6. How to say no without guilt or drama. Now you might be wondering, okay, but how do I say no without hurting people or burning bridges? Here's the good news. Saying no doesn't have to be cold. It can be kind, warm, and clear. Here are a few examples. I really appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't take this on right now. I'm focusing on a few key priorities, so I'll have to pass. That's not something I can commit to at the moment, but I'm rooting for you. No, thank you. You don't owe people long explanations. A simple, respectful no is enough. And if someone gets upset because you set a boundary, that's not your problem. It's their expectation that needs adjusting. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. You are responsible for managing your life. Let's bring it home. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful skills you'll ever develop. It's a boundary, a filter, a declaration. It says, I respect myself too much to waste my energy on things that don't serve my purpose. Your peace is not worth trading for popularity. Your focus is not worth trading for approval. And your future is not worth trading for comfort. So protect your life like it matters, because it does. Every no you say for the right reasons makes room for a yes that can change your life. Up next in Chapter 5, we'll explore a lesson that affects every decision you make, every habit you form, and every goal you achieve. Discipline over motivation. How to win on the days you don't feel like it. Chapter 5. Discipline over motivation. How to win on the days you don't feel like it. You've probably heard people say, "I just need to get motivated." Maybe you've even said it yourself. But here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline isn't. Motivation is like a spark. It feels good when it shows up, but it fades quickly. Discipline, on the other hand, is like a fire you build and maintain. It doesn't rely on feelings. It relies on choice. And once you learn this lesson, once you stop depending on motivation and start mastering discipline, you become unstoppable. Let's dig deep into this. 1. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. Motivation is based on mood. It's emotional, temporary, reactive. You feel inspired after watching a video, reading a quote, hearing a success story. And that's great, until life happens. Until you're tired. Until it's cold. Until no one is cheering you on. Then what? Discipline steps in. Discipline says, "I do it anyway." Discipline says, "I made a promise to myself, and I'm keeping it." Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It cares what you do. And here's the paradox. When you act with discipline long enough, motivation shows up as a result. You don't wait to feel motivated to act. You act to become motivated. 2. Your habits will carry you further than your hype. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your systems. Let that sink in. Motivation might get you started at the gym. Discipline is what keeps you going when your muscles ache and your schedule is full. Motivation might push you to write the first page. Discipline is what finishes the book. Motivation might excite you about your vision board. Discipline is what builds the actual life. Real change doesn't come from hype. It comes from habit. And habit is what happens when discipline becomes your default setting. So don't aim to feel inspired every day. Aim to build routines so strong, they run even when inspiration doesn't show up. 3. Discipline is the shortcut most people avoid. People waste years waiting for motivation to strike. They chase hacks, tips, and quick fixes. But here's the truth. Discipline is the shortcut. It's not fancy. It's not flashy. It's not always fun. But it works. The most successful people you admire? They're not superheroes. They've just mastered this one skill. They do what needs to be done, especially when they don't feel like doing it. That's the separator. Anyone can act when it's easy. Discipline shows up when it's hard. And every time you choose discipline, you build mental muscle. You prove to yourself that you're in charge. Not your emotions, not your excuses, you. 4. Discipline creates freedom. Most people think discipline is restrictive. That it's cold, boring, or harsh. But the opposite is true. Discipline is the foundation of freedom. When you're disciplined with your time, you create space for the things that matter. When you're disciplined with your money, you gain control over your future. When you're disciplined with your habits, you build confidence that doesn't shake when life does. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want, whenever you want. Freedom is having the power to choose what's best for you, even when it's not easy. And that power is built, day by day, through small disciplined actions. 5. How to strengthen your discipline muscle. Like any skill, discipline can be trained. Here's how. Start small and build momentum. Don't try to overhaul your whole life overnight. Start with one promise, one routine, one commitment. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier, drinking water first thing, journaling before bed, 10 pages a day, 10 push-ups a day. Whatever it is, do it daily. Keep it small. Keep it simple. Let momentum build. B. Remove the need for willpower. Make discipline easier by designing your environment to support it. Lay out your clothes the night before. Keep junk food out of the house. Put your phone in another room during work hours. Use timers, reminders, routines, and tools that reduce friction. Willpower fades. Systems don't. C. Focus on identity, not just outcome. Don't just aim to do disciplined things. Aim to be a disciplined person. Say to yourself, I'm the kind of person who shows up. I'm the kind of person who follows through. I'm the kind of person who finishes what I start. When your identity aligns with discipline, consistency becomes easier. 6. Discipline is a form of self-respect. Every time you choose discipline, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. You're saying, I'm worthy of progress. I deserve the results that come from showing up. My goals matter enough to keep going. And over time, discipline creates something motivation never could. Trust. You start to trust yourself. You no longer wonder if you'll follow through. You know you will. And that self-trust? It changes everything. It builds quiet confidence. Real confidence. The kind that lasts. Here's the takeaway. Motivation is nice when it shows up. But discipline is there every single day, waiting for your decision. Don't rely on feelings. Rely on follow-through. Don't wait for inspiration. Build momentum through action. And when in doubt, remember this. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. Because the person you want to become is built in the moments when you don't feel like it, but you do it anyway. Chapter 6. Clarity over Chaos. Why knowing what you want changes everything. Let me ask you a simple question, and be honest. Do you know what you really want in life? Not what other people want for you. Not what sounds impressive. Not what you've been told you should want. But what you truly, deeply want. Because if you're not clear about your destination, how can you expect to get there? It's easy to stay busy. Easy to keep moving. Easy to react to life. But motion without clarity is just chaos disguised as progress. This chapter is about cutting through that noise. It's about learning one of life's most powerful lessons. Clarity creates power. Confusion creates paralysis. Let's dig in. 1. Clarity simplifies decision-making. Most people aren't exhausted because they're working too hard. They're exhausted because they're overthinking everything. Should I take this job? Should I stay in this relationship? Should I start that project? Should I say yes or no? But once you're clear on your values, your goals, and your vision, those decisions become simple. Not easy, but simple. If it aligns with where you're going, it's a yes. If it doesn't, it's a no. No guilt. No drama. No second guessing. Clarity gives you the ability to move with confidence, not because you have all the answers, but because you know your direction. 2. Without clarity, you'll chase what doesn't matter. We live in a world full of distractions. You're constantly being bombarded with other people's goals, lifestyles, and opinions. It's easy to get swept up in it all. To chase status, likes, approval, the next shiny thing. But here's the danger. When you don't define success for yourself, you'll chase someone else's version of it. And nothing feels more empty than achieving something that never mattered to you in the first place. Clarity helps you filter the noise. It helps you say, that's great for them, but it's not for me. It keeps you grounded, focused, unshakable. 3. Ask better questions. Get better clarity. Clarity isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. And it starts by asking better questions. Questions that cut through the fog. What kind of life do I want to build? What kind of person do I want to be? What does success feel like to me, not just look like? What am I no longer willing to tolerate? What would I do if I wasn't afraid of failing? These questions create depth. They reveal your truth. And once you find your truth, you can build a life that's actually yours, not a performance for the world. 4. Clarity builds confidence. Most people think confidence comes from talent or luck. But the real source of confidence? Clarity. When you know who you are, what you stand for, and where you're headed, you stop seeking constant reassurance. You stop needing everyone's approval. You stop shrinking in rooms where you don't fit. You stop doubting every move you make. Confidence isn't, "I'm the best." Confidence is, "I know what matters to me. I know why I'm here. And I don't need to be perfect, I just need to be clear." That kind of confidence doesn't shake when life does. 5. Your goals need to be specific. General goals produce general results. I want to be successful. I want to be healthier. I want to make more money. These are vague dreams, not clear targets. Clarity turns a dream into a direction. Instead of, "I want to be healthy," say, "I work out 4 times a week and eat clean 80% of the time." Instead of, "I want more money," say, "I want to earn an extra 25,000 Indian rupees a month through freelancing by the end of the year." Specific goals create measurable actions, and measurable actions create real progress. So get clear. Name it. Define it. Write it down. The more specific your vision, the easier it becomes to take aligned action. 6. Clarity isn't permanent. It's evolving. One of the biggest misconceptions about clarity is thinking it's a one-time event. You don't find it once and then coast. Clarity evolves as you evolve. What mattered to you at 20 might not matter at 30. What inspired you last year may not fulfill you today. That's okay. In fact, it's a sign you're growing. The key is to check in with yourself regularly. Is this still what I want? Is this path still aligned with who I'm becoming? Give yourself permission to shift, to adjust, to let go of outdated goals. That's not failure, it's wisdom. Clarity doesn't mean being rigid. It means being honest. 7. Create a personal vision statement. Here's a simple but powerful exercise. Write your personal vision in 1 paragraph. Not your job title. Not your resume. Your vision. What kind of impact do you want to have? What kind of life do you want to wake up to? What values guide your decisions? How do you want to be remembered? When you can articulate this clearly, it becomes your compass. It helps you say yes to what aligns. And it helps you confidently say no to everything else. That paragraph becomes your anchor when life gets messy, when things are unclear, when you're tempted to quit, or when others try to tell you who to be. It reminds you, this is who I am. This is what I'm building. This is why it matters. So here's the truth. If your life feels chaotic, it's not always because you're doing too much. It's often because you're doing too much of the wrong things, and not enough of the right ones. Clarity cuts through the clutter. It removes confusion. It gives you permission to let go of the noise and focus on what truly matters. When you're clear, you stop rushing. You stop comparing. You stop doubting. You start building, intentionally, powerfully, peacefully. So take the time to get clear. The hours you spend gaining clarity will save you years of wasted energy. Chapter 7. The Compound Effect. Small daily choices that change everything. Imagine this. You make a tiny, positive change today. Something almost invisible. Something no one would notice. Maybe you read 10 pages of a book, choose water over soda, or decide to save just 100 Indian rupees. Now multiply that action by 365 days. Still small? Or life-changing? That's the power of the compound effect. This chapter is about one of the most life-altering lessons you can ever learn. Small, smart choices, repeated consistently over time, create massive results. Let's unpack how this works, why most people overlook it, and how you can use it to transform your life from the inside out. 1. Why big changes don't last, but small ones do. We live in a world obsessed with instant results. Lose 10 kilograms in a week. Make 1 lakh rupees in 30 days. Change your life in one weekend. But here's the truth. Big changes often don't stick. Small changes do. Why? Because big changes rely on big bursts of willpower. And willpower runs out. But small, daily actions don't need heroic effort, they just need consistency. Reading 1 page a day won't change your life tomorrow. But reading 1 page a day for a year? That's 365 pages. That's a full book. That's a new mindset. Small wins stack. Quietly. Invisibly. Powerfully. 2. Every choice is a vote. Think of every action you take as casting a vote for the type of person you're becoming. Skip your morning scroll and read for 10 minutes? You voted for the focused version of you. Choose to go for a walk instead of binge-watching? You voted for the disciplined version of you. Decide to save instead of spend? You voted for the financially wise version of you. Each choice may seem insignificant on its own, but over time, they become your identity. You don't just do successful things. You become the person who does them automatically. That's the compound effect working its magic. 3. Habits are the engine of the compound effect. Want to build a life you don't need a vacation from? You don't need a miracle. You need better habits. Habits are the foundation on which your entire life rests. And the best part? They're automatic once installed. Here's how to start small. Choose one area of your life: health, money, mindset, productivity. Pick one micro habit. Not a huge goal, just one small action. Attach it to something you already do, like brushing your teeth or making your coffee. Track it. Celebrate it. Repeat it daily. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing something every day. Over weeks, you'll build momentum. Over months, you'll see results. Over years, you'll change your life. 4. Avoiding the invisible traps. Now here's the kicker. The compound effect works both ways. Good habits build a good life, but small bad choices? They quietly destroy it. One late-night snack doesn't ruin your health. One ignored bill doesn't cause debt. One skipped workout doesn't matter. But repeated over time? Those small choices compound in the wrong direction. Here's what's dangerous. Nothing seems to happen. At first, you feel fine. No big consequence. So you keep repeating it. Until suddenly, your health crashes, your debt piles up, your motivation disappears. Remember, success and failure are both quiet at the start. But time exposes everything. 5. Time is either working for you or against you. The compound effect doesn't care whether you're using it for growth or decay. It's like gravity. You can use it to climb or fall. That's why awareness is everything. Every day, ask yourself, what am I repeating? Are these habits building me up or breaking me down? If I kept doing this every day for the next year, where would I end up? Because if you don't intentionally choose your direction, you'll drift. And drifting leads to regret. Time is the most powerful force you'll ever partner with. So use it wisely. 6. Be patient. The results will come. Here's the hard truth. You won't see instant results. And that's why most people give up. They start going to the gym, and after a week, nothing changes. They start waking up early, and still feel tired. They start saving money, and the account looks the same. So they quit. But the compound effect doesn't work on your schedule. It rewards consistency, not intensity. Think of it like planting a seed. You water it. Nothing happens. You water it again. Still nothing. But below the surface, roots are growing. Foundations are forming. And when the time is right, it explodes with growth. Success is silent until it isn't. 7. The power of tiny gains. Here's a mind-blowing idea. If you improve by just 1% a day, every day, you'll be 37 times better in 1 year. Not 37%, 37 times. That's the compound effect in full force. And the opposite is true too. If you decline by 1% daily, you'll be almost at zero. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting a little better, a little stronger, a little smarter, and doing it every single day. 8. Track the invisible. If you can't see progress, it's easy to quit. So how do you stay motivated when the results are slow? You track the effort, not just the outcome. Did you show up today? Did you do your routine? Did you honor your small promise? That's a win. Count it. Momentum isn't built by crushing massive goals. It's built by showing up when no one's watching and trusting the process. 9. The real secret? Discipline in the boring moments. Everyone's motivated when it's exciting, when it's new, when the results are visible. But the winners? They keep going when it's boring. They show up when it's routine. They grind when no one claps. Because they understand, the magic isn't in the big moves. It's in the daily ones. You don't need more motivation. You need a system, a schedule, a habit, and a belief that it's working, even if you can't see it yet. Final thoughts. The compound effect is always working. Every day, you are either climbing toward your dream or drifting away from it. It's not the massive leaps that change your life. It's the small, smart, invisible choices you make every day. So choose wisely. Choose to read instead of scroll. Choose to save instead of spend. Choose to speak life instead of complain. Choose to move forward, even if it's just 1 inch. Because those inches add up. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize everything changed. One choice at a time. Chapter 8. Discomfort is the price of growth. Why you must get comfortable being uncomfortable. Let's face it, comfort feels good. It's warm. It's safe. It's predictable. But here's the catch. Nothing meaningful ever grows there. If there's one life lesson that will stretch you beyond your limits and help you rise above mediocrity, it's this. Growth only happens outside your comfort zone. If you want a better life, more confidence, more success, more peace, you'll have to get comfortable doing things that feel uncomfortable. This chapter is your wake-up call. To stop playing small. To stop waiting for the perfect moment. To stop living on autopilot. Because nothing great was ever achieved from the couch of comfort. 1. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Think about the times you grew the most. Was it during the easy seasons? The moments where everything was going your way? Probably not. Growth usually shows up in disguise, as failure, struggle, rejection, change, or fear. The moments that make you sweat are the moments that shape you. Comfort, on the other hand, whispers lies. It says, "You're fine right here. Why risk it? What if you fail?" And if you listen too long, you'll stay stuck in a life that's fine, but far from fulfilled. 2. Fear isn't a stop sign. It's a signal. You feel fear when you're about to step into the unknown. And that's exactly where growth lives. Fear is not a red light. It's a green light that says, "This matters. This could change you. Go." But most people run from fear. They wait to feel ready. They wait until the fear is gone. That day never comes. The most successful people in the world, they still feel fear. But they walk forward anyway. They've trained themselves to see fear not as a wall, but as a doorway. And every time they walk through it, they level up. 3. Discomfort is the gym for your mind. Just like your muscles grow under stress, so does your character. Public speaking makes you nervous? Good. Do it anyway. Difficult conversation you're avoiding? Have it. Scared to ask for the promotion? Ask anyway. Feeling awkward at the gym? Show up again tomorrow. Every time you do something uncomfortable, you stretch your capacity. And over time, what once felt impossible becomes normal. That's how champions are made. Not by avoiding discomfort, but by embracing it until it becomes strength. 4. You're either evolving or decaying. Here's something uncomfortable to hear. There is no neutral in life. You're either growing or shrinking, moving forward or sliding back. Comfort tricks you into thinking you're standing still. But life keeps moving. And if you're not adapting, you're falling behind. Ask yourself, when was the last time you did something for the first time? When was the last time you felt stretched, challenged, or tested? If it's been a while, it's time to shake things up. Because real fulfillment lives on the other side of what scares you. 5. Growth requires friction. You can't sharpen a blade without resistance. And you can't build strength without pressure. The same is true in life. Want to grow in confidence? You'll have to do things that terrify you. Want to grow in wisdom? You'll have to admit what you don't know. Want to grow in discipline? You'll have to sacrifice comfort. There's no shortcut, no fast track. Only the daily decision to show up, even when it's hard. 6. Comfort zones shrink over time. If you stay in your comfort zone for too long, it doesn't just stay the same, it gets smaller. Your confidence shrinks. Your dreams fade. Your sense of possibility disappears. But when you push your limits, even in small ways, your world expands. Take a cold shower. Say yes to something new. Put yourself in rooms where you're not the smartest person. Each time you challenge yourself, your mind adapts. Your courage grows. And your comfort zone stretches. Eventually, what once scared you becomes your new normal. 7. Discomfort leads to confidence. Confidence isn't built through affirmations. It's built by doing hard things. When you face discomfort head-on and survive, you prove to yourself that you're capable. And that belief becomes unshakable. You didn't die from embarrassment. You didn't fall apart when things got hard. You didn't crumble when you failed. That's where real confidence is born, not from perfection, but from persistence through pain. Every uncomfortable moment is a training ground for the warrior within you. 8. Choose your hard. Here's the truth most people avoid. Staying broke is hard. Managing wealth is hard. Being unfit is hard. Staying disciplined is hard. Avoiding hard conversations is hard. Having them is also hard. So choose your hard. One leads to regret. The other leads to growth. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. 9. Discomfort is temporary, but growth is forever. When you embrace discomfort, it won't last forever. But the growth you gain, that stays. You'll get used to the pain of waking up early. You'll stop fearing rejection. You'll become comfortable in chaos. Eventually, your mind becomes stronger than your excuses. And your life begins to reflect your courage, not your comfort. Final thoughts. Growth is not supposed to feel safe. It's supposed to stretch you, challenge you, even scare you a little. But that's the cost of becoming who you were born to be. Comfort may feel good in the moment, but purpose feels better for a lifetime. So step into discomfort. Say yes to what scares you, and trust that the strongest version of you is waiting on the other side. Chapter 9. Don't chase motivation. Build discipline, the real key to long-term success. Everyone loves to feel motivated. That rush of energy, the fire in your chest, the sense that you can conquer anything. But here's the brutal truth. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is everything. If you only act when you feel like it, you'll lose. If you wait for the perfect time, the ideal mood, or the stars to align, success will always be just out of reach. This chapter is not about hype. It's not about getting pumped up. It's about doing the work, especially when you don't feel like it. Because discipline is what builds champions, not fleeting motivation. Let's dive in. 1. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a muscle. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. Some mornings you wake up inspired. Other days you feel like doing nothing at all. But your goals don't care how you feel. That's why motivation alone can't be the foundation of your life. Discipline, on the other hand, is a skill you build. It's your ability to act regardless of how you feel. When motivation fades, and it will, discipline keeps you moving forward. 2. Emotion follows action. Most people think they need to feel inspired before they act. But the truth is often the opposite. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Start doing the work, and the feelings will catch up. You don't feel like working out? Just start moving. 5 minutes in, your energy rises. Don't want to write that email? Start typing. Clarity shows up mid-action. Not in the mood to show up today? Show up anyway, and pride will follow. Waiting to feel motivated is a trap. Act first. Let emotion follow your commitment. 3. Small daily actions build unstoppable momentum. Discipline isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in small, daily decisions. Getting up when the alarm goes off. Showing up to your goals even on off days. Saying no when it's easier to say yes. Finishing what you started. These tiny wins might seem insignificant, but over time, they create a life of excellence. Success isn't one big leap. It's 1,000 quiet choices that no one sees. 4. Winners train like it's non-negotiable. Champions don't ask, "Do I feel like it today?" They train. They practice. They show up every day, no excuses. Discipline removes the decision. When you commit to a goal, the question is no longer, "Should I?" It becomes, "How will I?" That shift, right there, is what separates the average from the elite. 5. Discipline is self-respect in action. Every time you do what you said you would, especially when it's hard, you build self-trust. And that self-trust turns into confidence. You begin to respect yourself not because of what you achieve, but because of who you're becoming. Discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom. Freedom from excuses. Freedom from regret. Freedom from being a prisoner to your mood. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. 6. Motivation is loud. Discipline is quiet. Motivation shouts. It gets you hyped. Discipline whispers. It tells you to do the work when no one is watching. Motivation is like a spark. It can start the fire. But only discipline keeps it burning. You don't need loud music, a motivational quote, or a perfect morning to take action. You need one thing, a decision. A decision to do what matters. To stick to your word. To show up again. 7. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. You can have the biggest dreams in the world. You can visualize success, talk about it, journal about it, but without discipline, it's just fantasy. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. Discipline is what turns your someday into done. Your I'll try into I did. Your hope into reality. You don't need more plans. You need more follow-through. 8. Build routines that remove emotion. One of the most powerful tools for discipline is structure. Create routines that eliminate choice, that remove emotion from the equation. Work out every morning, not when you feel like it. Schedule your deep work hours. Prep your meals in advance. Decide in advance what you'll do, so there's no room for negotiation. Discipline thrives in systems. Because when it's part of your identity, you don't need willpower. You just do it. 9. The days you don't want to are the days that matter most. Anyone can show up when it's easy. But the days when you're tired, uninspired, and tempted to quit, those are the defining moments. Those are the days when discipline is forged in fire. When you push through those moments, you build resilience. And resilience becomes your superpower. Not because you're perfect, but because you refuse to quit. 10. Discipline beats talent every time. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the fastest, the most talented, or the most experienced. You need to be the most consistent. History is filled with talented people who never made it, because they relied on potential instead of discipline. And it's filled with average people who achieved greatness, because they refused to quit. That's the power of discipline. It levels the playing field. Final thoughts. If you want to change your life, stop chasing motivation. Motivation is a guest. Discipline is a roommate. Train it. Strengthen it. Protect it. Discipline won't always feel exciting, but it will build a life that is. So the next time you feel lazy, uninspired, or off track, don't ask for motivation. Ask yourself, what would the disciplined version of me do right now? Then do it, no matter what. Because the version of you who keeps showing up, that's the version who wins. Chapter 10. Comparison destroys joy. Focus on progress, not perfection. Let's be honest. We've all done it. You scroll through social media and see someone your age buying a house, starting a business, traveling the world, or hitting milestones you haven't even imagined yet. And suddenly, your confidence shrinks. Your life feels behind. Your goals seem small. Your progress feels pointless. This, right here, is the silent killer of happiness. Comparison. In this chapter, we'll talk about why comparing yourself to others is one of the most dangerous habits you can fall into, and how you can break free by focusing on one powerful idea: progress over perfection. 1. Comparison is the fastest way to feel miserable. When you compare, you always lose. Because you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You see their best moment, and you compare it to your worst day. It's not a fair fight. Even if you're doing well, comparison makes it feel like it's not enough. Because there's always someone richer, smarter, faster, better looking, or more accomplished. Always. So if your joy is based on how you stack up to others, you'll never feel whole. 2. You can't compete in a game that wasn't meant for you. Here's the truth. Life is not a race. You are not late. You are not early. You are on your own timeline. But when you compare, you forget that. You start chasing things that don't even matter to you. You adopt someone else's dream and try to wear it like it's your size. That's how people end up successful and still miserable. Because they were chasing a finish line that was never theirs. The only race you should run is the one with yourself. Not faster than them. Just better than yesterday. 3. The trap of perfection. Perfection is the enemy of growth. It tells you, don't start until everything's ready. Don't share your work unless it's flawless. Don't move forward unless you're sure. But progress says, start small. Fail fast. Keep learning. Progress is messy. It's uncomfortable. It's full of mistakes, setbacks, and revisions. But that's what makes it powerful. Perfection will keep you stuck. Progress will keep you moving. And motion beats stagnation every time. 4. Your only real competition is who you were yesterday. Want to feel fulfilled every day? Stop asking, am I better than them? Start asking, am I better than I was? Track your own growth. Are you more focused? Are you more consistent? Are you more courageous? Are you more patient, more kind, more driven? That's the only scoreboard that matters. When you play your own game, you always win, because you control the rules. 5. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. We tend to ignore small wins. We say things like, it's just one workout. It's only 5 pages. It's just a tiny step. But progress is made of tiny steps. That one workout, it's momentum. Those 5 pages, they add up to a book. That small step, it's proof you're moving. Celebrate progress like it matters, because it does. Success is not a giant leap. It's a million microsteps in the right direction. 6. Social media, the illusion factory. Let's talk about the biggest comparison trap, social media. People don't post their pain. They post their wins, their filtered smiles, their staged perfection. It's an illusion. And if you measure your life against their online persona, you're fighting a battle you can't win. Set boundaries. Take breaks. Protect your mental space. Social media can inspire you, or it can drain you. Use it wisely. 7. Success isn't linear, and that's okay. Your journey will not be a straight line. There will be detours, delays, roadblocks. You'll take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. That's normal. Progress is not about speed. It's about direction. Even if you're crawling, as long as you're facing forward, you're doing just fine. Don't rush your story. The best chapters often take time to write. 8. You don't need to be the best, you just need to be you. You weren't born to be a copy of anyone else. Not your friends. Not influencers. Not that person you keep measuring yourself against. You were born to be you, and that's more than enough. When you lean into your uniqueness, your value skyrockets. Because the world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs the real you. Imperfect, evolving, and powerful in your own way. 9. Detach from outcomes, attach to habits. One of the best ways to escape the comparison trap? Focus less on the outcome, more on the process. Don't obsess over followers, likes, dollars, or trophies. Obsess over habits. Show up every day. Improve your craft. Stay consistent. Keep learning. When you fall in love with the process, success becomes inevitable. Not because you're chasing validation, but because you're growing from the inside out. 10. Joy comes from ownership, not approval. Here's the ultimate truth. Your life gets better the moment you stop trying to impress others and start living for yourself. Your value is not up for debate. Your worth doesn't need confirmation. Your path doesn't need permission. Own your story. Own your journey. Own your progress. Because when you stop comparing, you start living. Final thoughts. Comparison kills joy. Perfection paralyzes growth. Progress transforms everything. So take your eyes off their lane. Put your head down and keep moving forward. You're doing better than you think. Your growth is real. Your pace is perfect. And your journey, it's yours. And that's more than enough.